we've reached complete psyop season. Now is the time where things are gonna get weird. Maybe. I don't know. So, we have an assassination of a guy who is extremely popular talking right-wing politics in public. Not good security going on there. It's a little suspect, but the death itself, not just the death, the assassination, the death itself isn't even that big of a deal in terms of the story of history, I guess. But like the fact that it was done by a guy that we have no information of, and we've been constantly lied to for a very long time about everything, like, it's weird now. Because you can't see this assassination and then the news says one thing, and then the government says another, and then you immediately just don't believe either. Moreover, there are people that do believe that, and it's the turning point. Like, if you're a writer writing a book, and you have a guy who runs this company called Turning Point, and when his assassination causes a turning point, that would be using good literary elements to your benefit to create a good story. It's all connected. This is great for story writing. So the turning point is probably just heightened emotions. The heightened emotions are gonna come with violence. The violence will cause a lot of money to flow. All of the big, investors, all of them, always, something about money. When there's blood in the streets, like, invest. There's gonna be a lot of money flowing through, like, people's, like, buying products from streamers so that way they could support the cause and all that. And you're gonna get, right-wing people are gonna get really, like, put on edge. Like, this comes with, like, this act of political violence. We've had psyop season for, like, since the coronavirus. It's been just non-stop. And, like, we've had lulls in there and stuff, but really it's constant. All the stories are coming out of these things that are happening all the time, and it's always just drips in the bucket until it overflows. And this feels like the bucket is almost there, right? Because you have to get right-wing people to really react, right? You already have left-wing people going nuts. Like, they're already violent, right? But they're not violent to people who are as reactive, right? Because right-wing people typically like law and order. And so they want to keep law and order. So they're not going to go nuts. They're not going to go apeshit, not yet. But now you have this, and, freaking Steven Crowder, that gay guy who divorced his wife, he's talking about how he has an inside with an ATF agent, and that ATF agent sent him a picture of the magazine from the gun that guy dropped, and it's something about trans rights and stuff, right? It's another tranny shooter, allegedly. So another tranny shooter in a few weeks. Then you have the Ukrainian model in the train. Constant drops in the bucket, and it seems like they're just turning on the faucet now. It's getting more intense and faster. Like, the distance between the last big event and now is, we're talking like in a week. And so people are going to get upset. And, Twitter is now just more free flowing, right? Twitter is now allowing more things to be said on the site. And so you're gonna get a lot of people that are upset, and that upset of it, like, you're gonna have a lot of streamers and political commentators are gonna start talking like, we should react now. Like, now's the time. You get a lot of groypers. They're out there saying, you know, you killed Charlie Kirk, and what's next is going to be worse. You know, and what they mean is like, you know, if you kill the current right-wing political commentator, he's the top. Charlie Kirk was the top. That means the guy that replaces the top guy, he's going to be more radical. That's what they mean. Like, he's going to be worse. We're getting closer to a Hitler-type person to lead movements. And so really, when you're taking this all in, you got to really consider how much this actually affects your life. Like, your life. Like me. I found out yesterday, knew about it. I'm a conspiracy guy, right? So I look on Twitter, see what's really going on from the people that I follow. And, you know, it's fine. It's just another thing. Like January 6th, I watched that happen live at the bar. It was just another thing. I was just like, they're doing it again. Whatever. It doesn't matter if it's real. I think Charlie Kirk, you know, I think he passed, but like, like, whether that really happened or not, whether January 6th was a controlled operation, it doesn't matter, because the story is what matters, right? The Federal Reserve is using their words in order to affect the economy, right? If they say that interest rates are going down in the future, that means people will borrow more money now because they expect the money to be cheaper in the future, right? The story is what matters. And so when you have the story of Charlie, and you know, he's got a wife and kids, man. That sucks. Like, I do hate that. But when you're paying attention to the story alone, like, there is reality in this, but when you pay attention to the story alone, you can see that there's going to be an effect that happens after. Like, you can just see that. If you see it as a story, you just expect that because tensions have been rising for a long time, and now that these events that raise tensions, these events that raise tension for a particular group, the right, it's happening more frequent, and it's being done, like, each one is more intense. The contractions before the birth are more intense. Each of these operations being a contraction, and I don't mean operation, just bear with me. I don't think everything is fake. It's just the way I get it across. So each of these events is the contraction. Now each contraction is getting more intense, and each contraction is getting closer to the next. Right? And really what I think we should do is fucking relax. Go home. Have a good time with your wife and kids. And you go to work the next day. That's what I do. Saw the news. You know, I go home, my wife knows about it. She's like, oh my God, look what happened. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. What's for dinner? Right? And then you kind of move on. And, you know, it's morbidly entertaining. I can't help it, right? It's still news. It's the popping off thing. So, you know, it's the current event. You're going to talk about it. And I have my ideas and stuff, but like, I still went to work today. I go to work tomorrow. I'll be working this weekend. I'm gonna go to work now. I'm still gonna go home, talk to my wife. I'm still gonna play with my kids. You know, like, my life itself is great. And so you gotta keep that in mind. Like, just because people are going nuts doesn't mean you have to. You still just live. You gotta be careful. You know, now you know you gotta be careful. Right? If the left was battling somebody that didn't punch back, and now it seems like they're going to be battling somebody that is closer to punching back, that is a problem. But like, you know, protect your family is it. But don't go out looking for stuff. Don't get mad at the left. Don't get mad at the trannies. Or what I think is more apropos is really just don't get mad at the Jews. Now, dude, am I saying for sure that they have a huge part in this? No, because I'm not sure. I'm not there. I didn't make these plans. But, you know, there are things that point to It was you. These guys that wear tiny hats, you know. There are things that point that direction, but like, remember, their holidays are, it's based on them suffering. So in some weird way, they benefit from suffering. So if you have a situation in which, you know, the country goes in a direction where we start just hating Jews, just don't bite that. Don't bite for that. Don't bite. You know, you just let them do their thing just over there. Like, when you're somebody in the Charlie Kirk status, you have to understand that's the risk. And obviously it's a bad thing, right? I don't, like, fucking, he's a dad, a new dad. And that sucks. It really does. And I have a lot of empathy for that. But you let them do that over there. Stay in your lane, right? You still gotta go home. There's still people that, you know, care about you. You gotta help out your friends, help out your family, be useful to other people in your real life. Do not just start like hating Jews. Do not start hating the left. You don't even know who did it. It could have been Trump himself, which, you know, I don't think is 0%. So, yeah, that's it. It looks like we're just going somewhere. Like, this is definitely a direction that things are getting pushed on purpose or by happenstance. You know, maybe it was a crazy, like, tranny guy. I don't know. Big doubts, but, like, possible. Maybe it was Trump. Small doubts, but possible. Maybe it was Israel. Maybe. But you don't know. I don't know. And, you know, I gotta go to work now, and then I'm gonna go home. Hopefully sleep with my wife. I hope so. That'd be cool. But, like, that's my life, you know? Charlie Kirk is not my life. I have empathy. But, like, that's over there. I'm all the way out here. I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. I got a wife to make happy. You know? So don't get upset at the left. That's just a direction. It's that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about, you know, the Jews. They're just snakes. They just slither and they do their thing over there. They're leprechauns. They're fine. Leave them over there. Don't put them in concentration camps. Don't start going to the deli and be like freaking out. Don't go to Dave Portnoy, he'll sue your ass or something. He'll make you go to Israel for some reason. Right? Don't go to Holocaust museums. Don't Nazi sign everything. I'm not even against the Nazi sign, but it's like, you know, when you're doing it for an inflammatory reason, it becomes a negative sign. I know it's thousands of years old. It means prosperity or whatever, luck. But, like, you know, don't make it a negative thing. Let them do their thing over there. Like, you know, you can watch the show Game of Thrones, and it seems like the world's just, you're watching it, and you watch these sharks, these whales, these people at the top of the game over there, right? The number one players. And it seems like, oh my God, like, they got to do this for whatever. Like, it's the end of the world. Like, they're gonna save and they're gonna do this or whatever. You can watch that, but the whole time that show is going on, like, in that world, there was just a farmer, and he was, you know, he woke up every day, did farm shit. He went back. His wife yells at him. His kids are ungrateful, and he just has a good, like, you know, he's just figuring things out. And then he just does the same thing. So, like, Jon Snow is over there doing who knows what, and these other chickens, and there's freaking dragons and stuff, and that guy, he lived and died and had no idea what happened. So, like, you want to be like that guy. You want to be that farmer, right? You want to just, like, you want to live, do a good job, make your family happy, make your friends happy, have a good community, you know, trust and all that. And you want to just live and die and not be into this world of, like, depravity. You don't want to be part of that. Let Jews, let the left, let the right. Let them do that stuff over there. And you just crush it, you know. But you know, you'll figure it out. It's weird making a video when someone dies. Cause like, I'm hoping I get some views. I'm gonna name it The Turning Point. It's a cliche, and I think I hate YouTube, but I also kind of enjoy making it, but whatever. I'm also playing their game. But fuck them. Alright, you'll figure it out.